What's up guys, today we're going over a few things with swords. I made a video before Crota came out going over swords now, and I did not expect them to be such a meta option so soon. So we're going to make a part 2 following up with a few things. First being the bequest and seeing how good it actually is. And finally, probably something you're doing wrong with swords versus Crota and talking about that. So starting off, the bequest is one of the only swords in the game that has just straight up 10 more impact and a lot more charge time than the regular sword in Destiny 2. There are a few swords that are higher and lower in terms of impact, but for the most part, across the board, Bequest, compared to a normal adaptive, has 10 more impact and 52 more charge time right out of the box, which should in theory result in the highest damage sword in the game. So starting off in the video, we're going to be taking a look at that and comparing it to a normal adaptive and a vortex like the Falling Guillotine. So looking at damage of the bequest on Carl, hits for 27.6 thousand. Then the heavy attack hits for all these numbers and consumes 4 ammo compared to a normal adaptive, hits for 25.3 and quite a lot less on the heavy attack. So the plus 10 impact on the bequest translates to 9.2% more damage per light attack and heavy attack with the sword compared to a regular adaptive. And this sword has 82 base charge time with Swordmaster's Guard, while a regular sword has 30, taking 3.5 seconds. And then the bequest, with its total of 82, is going to be quite a lot faster, now only taking 2.7 seconds for any energy to return, meaning a 24% faster charge time, which is quite a lot. And what this allows is, without even using any Lucent Blade mods on your chest piece, you can do the 3 light attack combo and have just a fraction of energy back to do your next heavy attack. But just to be safe and make it a little bit more reliable, you can throw in one mod to max out the charge time and make the 3 light attack into heavy attack combo work every single time, taking 2.5 seconds. And before we talk DPS numbers, throwing up the Falling Guillotine numbers with the light attack and the heavy attack, and look at the most optimal combo for that. It's going to be 2 light attacks for every heavy attack with the weapon with Lucent Blade mods. So the base DPS of these swords with no damage perks at all, Vortex is 64.7, a regular adaptive is going to be 65.5, and the bequest will be much higher at 71.5. And if we throw in some perks on these swords, first and left on all these swords you want Relentless Strikes to greatly improve your total damage output and return ammo to the sword upon landing 3 hits. We're going to be doing a deep dive on this and how this affects your total damage output and why you're probably using swords wrong on Crota. But first, looking at the damage perk on the sword, there are no like traditional damage perks that you'll have all the time on the sword. The main one will be Surrounded, which is also the highest damage perk for a sword, but not necessarily something you'll have every single time. But when you do and you're surrounded by the boss plus 2 more enemies, it's going to be quite a lot of damage, now making the light attack hit for 39,000 and the heavy attack for quite a lot, and the heavy attack for 134,000, which is going to be 41.8% more than the base damage of the sword if you're surrounded. While with all the other adaptives and the Falling Guillotine, I would recommend Whirlwind Blade, which will be the consistent option that is always there. You could run surrounded on most of these swords also, but Whirlwind will just be the safe bet. And comparing the DPS with that, Whirlwind Blade will be 30%, while Surrounded will be 41.8. So Vortex now goes up to 84,000, Adaptive up to 85, and Bequest was Surrounded all the way up to 101,000. But to take advantage of that 101,000, you need a full fire team that is on the same page, that will bait Crota to the right spot and leave all the enemies below alive. And then if you do that, you should have Surrounded for the entire fight, resulting in by far the highest DPS of any sword in the game. But if you're not on the same page and you don't have Surrounded for the boss fight, you would just be at the base DPS number for Bequest, while that of the consistent Whirlwind of the Vortex or the regular adaptive would be higher. So it's definitely a big risk to run the Surrounded sword. If you can pull it off and you can organize it and make it work, it is the best. But if you don't have Surrounded, then you're just way worse off than using a regular sword. So overall, answering the question of is Bequest really that good and that much better? In the right situation, absolutely yes. Is it something that you have to use to one-phase Crota? No, by no means. We've literally one-phased them multiple times just light attacking with a regular sword without really using any damage supers at all. But if you do have the Bequest and you can set it up, it should be even easier and very consistent at one-phasing Crota. And now I'm going to talk about the second part of the video, the title, where you're probably using swords wrong on Crota. So the whole way swords work and their ammo economy take advantage of relentless strikes, where every third, it says light attack, hit within a short time grants sword ammo. And the way this perk works is any 3 attacks will return 1 ammo. It can also be the heavy, so any 3 attacks in general, you get 1 back. So for this video, depending on what blade option you have and your reserve perks, your total amount of ammo will be different. But let's just say you have 60 across the board for all these swords and take advantage of relentless strikes. The total damage output of the most optimal heavy attack combo with the vortex frame will be 1.5 million. With adaptive, it'll go up to 2.2, and with the bequest, it'll go up to 2.6. And the reason the vortex frame is so much lower than the R2 is because its heavy attack takes 6 ammo. It's very ammo inefficient compared to that of the adaptives. But the thing is, all of them, not only the vortex, are way less efficient in terms of total damage output than just doing straight light attacks. All of their heavy attacks are better for DPS, but reduce their total damage output. When we look at the DPS of just a light attack, it is going to be a little bit lower than that of the heavy combos, but not by that much. Still a respectable 70,000 with the Vortex and Adaptive, and with the Bequest with the plus 10 impact, 84,000. So now we have this cool correlation between DPS and total damage output of all of these swords. The light attacks are going to be higher total damage output, while doing more heavy attacks increases the DPS. So when you're playing it versus Crota, or any boss in particular, it becomes a balancing act of how many heavy attacks do you do. So in Crota, throughout the damage phase, if you do the most optimal combo of just 2 light attacks into the heavy attack on the Fallen Guillotine, you'll find yourself out of ammo extremely quick, way before the damage phase is over, which is obviously not good. So doing that many heavy attacks will be the highest DPS, but you're going to greatly limit your total damage output. And if you do the opposite, where you do only light attacks, you will end the phase with too much ammo left, while also doing the least amount of DPS. So when you're doing the Crota fight, the goal should be right when the damage phase ends, you have 0 ammo. And the way you do this is, as you go, you just kind of have to figure out how many heavy attacks you gotta do. Usually I start off with mostly light attacks, maybe a heavy attack here and there. And as the damage phase winds down, I keep looking at the timer on the Oversoul and my ammo count, and I adjust as I need. If I feel like I can afford to do more heavy attacks, I will. If I'm at like 5 seconds left on Oversoul and I only have like 10 ammo, I'll realize I should probably only end with light attacks, maybe a heavy attack at the very end. So even though the most optimal DPS combo of swords is spamming the heavy attack, depending on the boss fight and how long it is, you have to increase or decrease your frequency of heavy attacks to conserve your ammo and run out of ammo at the exact right time. Running out too early is bad. Having ammo left when the phase is over is also bad. You really want to try to time it so you have 0 right when it ends. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully that helped you both know what sword to use for Crota depending on what you have, and maybe help you out knowing the best way to use the sword in the actual fight itself. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.